Hey there, Tad Hart here from Marketing for Hippies, and I'm here to talk about manipulation and marketing and what manipulation sounds like in sales training and marketing books. And I've got a book here. I'm not going to tell you what it is, but it's a book by a colleague, and she and I have talked on the phone. I've let her know my thoughts on this. I like her. I think she's a real fine person, and I hope we get to meet someday. And there were some parts of the way that she wrote her book that concerned me. And so I want to read it out because this is a really good example of, in my mind, how manipulation gets justified in marketing. It sounds like this. The most important aspect of this approach is that it's a new paradigm about creating content that connects to our audience's unconscious minds. So when I read that, I just thought, why would you want to connect to somebody's unconscious mind? What's the intent behind connecting to their unconscious mind? So it can sound like that, one really needs to ask, why would you even want to do that? What's wrong with their conscious mind? Is it that their unconscious mind then will make a decision, that you can kind of bypass something, you can sneak past the guards at the gate? They can make a decision they wouldn't have consciously made, but here's another one. Here's the dilemma. Although we know that the purpose of a website is to persuade, emotion is what persuades, not facts. Now again, this isn't overt, but persuade about what? What's the case that's being made? Now, if we were to say that the case, well, I don't even think that this is it. I don't think marketing is about persuasion, frankly. I think marketing is about sharing a perspective, sharing a philosophy, making an offer. People decide what they want to decide. So I could be bent towards you're trying to persuade or make a case for a philosophy or for a point of view, but there's no imposition on it. And I'm just cagey. I'm very cagey around that language of persuasion and convincing, and emotion is what persuades, not facts. Well, emotion, again, the emotion, appeal to their emotion, the unconscious mind. And that just seems like trying to be sneaky. Right. What's happened is that the limbic brain has kicked in. So once your limbic brain is engaged, your rational mind is a goner. That's true. That's probably true. But to me, the role of a marketer would be to say, if you're talking with somebody and you notice they've gone into their limbic, they've gone into a kind of real primitive fight, flight kind of, reaction, you would stop and you would say, I'm not going to let you decide while you're in that place. You wouldn't take their money if you could clearly see that's where they were. Another one. We've been taught by our marketing predecessors and are constantly reminded by the status quo that to convince people to choose us over the other guys, we need to talk about the powerful features we need to talk about the powerful features of our products and services, but there's absolutely no research to back up that assumption. So there's a few things here. Again, you hear the justification for convincing people to choose us. I deeply disagree with that. The role of marketing is not to convince somebody to choose you over the other person. It's to share your philosophy, your understanding, to make good offers, and they will choose who they want to choose based on what's the best fit for them. That doesn't mean you can't have a good conversation with them. Can't be honest, say, look, I think I can help you. You can be real direct and straight with people, but that's different than convincing. And again, you can hear the bias of moving away from this logical approach to this more emotional approach. I'm not against, speaking to emotions in marketing, but what's the intent? If the intent is empathy and they feel seen and gotten and understood, that's nice. Yeah. By the way, I'm not trying to impose meaning or intent on what this author spoke of. Although in the conversation, when I asked, her what her sense of the difference between, the light side and the dark side of marketing, the best she could give me was, well, the light side is, and I did a whole video about this, but the light side is about hope and possibility, whereas the dark side is about pain and sticking the knife in and twisting around. And I just said, oh, you think you can't manipulate people with possibility? You think you can't seduce people with possibility? Really? So, but I'm not trying to impose intent on this. I'm just trying to say this is what it sounds like. This is a very slippery slope, these words. Then there's a lot of talk about kind of metaphor, motifs in marketing. It says, always keep in mind that your audience is hardwired to respond to these motifs. Okay, so we're saying it's big medicine. But that's a reason to slow down and be careful. That's not something to be excited about. I believe that if a visitor comes to your site and your solution is not a good fit for them, you should not try to sell it to them. Great. I mean, that's beautiful. That's ethics right there. But I made a note here in the margins, but what if they want to buy? You can say this, but structurally, what are you doing? You can say, don't sell them, but my oven, let's say. One sec. Sorry. Oh, I'm professional. Yeah, but structurally, what are you doing? So you say, don't sell to somebody. You should not try to sell it to them if it's not a fit. But have you woven things into your marketing structure, practice, latticework, architecture, so that those people would not buy? Yeah, this is the whole idea of the "Are you sure?" page, or this is a fit for you, but it's not a fit for you, actually pushing people away who aren't a fit. So I just didn't see that in here, and I almost never do, frankly. When I read a lot of marketing stuff, I don't see here's how you make sure that people who are not a fit do not buy. Right, and then talking about reciprocity, which Robert Cialdini talked about in his book, Influence, the Psychology of Persuasion. And just talking about this idea of the free gift. So try offering your website visitors a free gift with no strings attached. For example, give them a truly valuable ebook without asking for their email address. In their minds, the reciprocity loop won't be closed until they've given something back to you. I mean, true, but again, that's something to be wary of. This is, I mean, it's not, the question is, why are you being generous? Are you being generous because you think you're going to get something? Because they're going to buy from you later? Is that why we're generous? Or are we generous because we genuinely want to be helpful? And of course, the fact that they want to give back is a consequence of this. But again, if you go about inducing reciprocation by giving away all this stuff, but you don't also filter, because there's three rules of marketing we can imagine. There's other videos I've done on this. 3 rules of marketing. 1, you've got to get their attention. That's mostly word of mouth. 2, you have to filter. You've got to make sure that the people who are not a fit don't buy from you. 3, you've got to lower the risk of them taking the first step. Get their attention, filter, lower the risk. Those 3 in that order. And if you skip any one of them, it doesn't work. And so often what I see is this middle one of filtering is skipped. Yeah, get their attention, lower the risk. Get their attention, excite them, stick them the knife, seduce them with possibility, and then here's a risk-free offer. But this middle part about making sure that somebody who that's really just not a fit for it never signs up. For example, if you have an online program and it requires them joining a Facebook group, but they're not on Facebook, and you don't mention that until you've got their money. If you know that your program takes at least half an hour a day of work, and you don't mention that, you see what I'm saying? Or you mention it in small print so they won't notice. And then you get requests for refunds, and there's frustrations and all this. So anyways, I honestly don't read a lot of books about marketing, but I read this one a few months ago, and I just had underlined those things. So I just want you to hear it. That's what it sounds like when it's coming from somebody who's a good, fine person. But when the intent is fuzzy, is the intent to get to the truth of is it a fit, or is the intent to get the sale? That's got to be clear. And just for all the marketing coaches and trainers out there, it has to be clear all along the way what our intention is, because it's very easy to slip into the getting the sale. So I suggest we all focus on getting to the truth of if it's a fit instead, and feel better for everybody. Thanks everyone. And if you like this video, please share it with your friends. Subscribe on YouTube, hit the button and the little bell icon. You can follow me on Facebook, go to marketingforhippies.com. There's tons of free stuff that will induce reciprocation to make you want to give back to me, etc. And if you have any questions, please put them below, any comments. I'm happy to make new videos that may speak to some of the things you're wondering about. Take care, everyone.